Greetings and welcome to the Manifest Wellness Podcast. We are here to help you live a life of purpose now. My name is Lima Pasha. I'm an executive wellness coach and business consultant. And today I bring you a guest who is going to take you on a journey about how to live fit, fine, and fabulous at any age. She's going to reveal some of her secrets. So get your pens ready for some three ways. Three of them include gratitude, visualization, and community. The esteemed Asara Tsehai is the founder of A Touch of Life. She specializes in transformational team building and employee wellness training for organizations including Alameda County, University of California, Berkeley, and the New York Department of Education, to name a few. She is the author of The Ancient Principles of Radiant Health, creator of Ancient Treasures, the world's simplest beauty company. And I can tell you firsthand, this product is like liquid gold for your skin. Ms Tashai has been featured in Essence magazine. She is a world traveler. She's traveled and studied in Europe, Africa, and the Caribbean. She's also a renowned speaker, and I have heard her speak. When she speaks, she will bring you to your feet. She is a graduate of the Academy of Life Science. She studied biology, French literature, dietetics, and speech communication. Without further ado, Miss Sahai, welcome to the Manifest Wellness Podcast. What is your beauty secret? We want to know. We want to know.
What is my beauty secret?
And
Wow, you
what
go,
are
you go
three
right there,
things?
huh?
Yes.
So the first piece is the mindset. Um, so one of the things is I'm an African medicine woman. And so part of that mindset I have is that I know that we were designed to be in radiant health our entire lives. So I know that my body was designed to work on my behalf my entire life. I know that it is perfect and divine. So I don't expect, so I have an expectation that it will work for me until it's time for me to leave my body. So yes, certain things come up, little illnesses, little things come up, but they don't last more than a few days or so. So I have the expectation. Most people have the expectation that they're going to age. Um, and they also something okay. They have the expectation that they're going to age, that they're going to get sick, that the body's going to break down, they're going to die. So they live and they make choices based on that. I make choices based on the fact that I know that my body can serve me all the way past 100 plus years young and serve me well. So that's the first piece, Nima, is what my expectation. So if something comes up, sometimes it's taken me almost a year to get something right. Something is like, okay, like my toe was bothering me and I couldn't figure it out for almost a year. But I knew that there was an answer and I didn't give up. I didn't just surrender. Oh, this is just going to how it's going to be. My toe is hurting. It's going to do that. It's going to affect my walking. I just have to accept it. I know there's something that's off and I'm going to find a solution. It took me a year to find a solution, but now, so that's a really big difference right there.
Yes. Yes. Setting those expectations and being proactive in your life. Wow, that's amazing. What are three things you would suggest to business owners developing themselves and their businesses?
Is one of the things that is important, particularly if you're a woman in business, because we usually also have a lot of other responsibilities in our household. If we have children, depending on where you are in your life, and if you have a maid. And so a lot of those home responsibilities fall on our shoulders as well as the business. And so my key is to make sure you are included in your life. Make sure that you're not there's a lot of women, a lot of business owners, they create a business and then they let their business drive them. What I did is that I created a business, but I built the business around what I need, how I live, what is going to suit me so that I can be high performing, not only as a business owner, but high performing as a woman, high performing as a mother, high performing as a mate, right? So, again, I remember when I first started my business and I had little children, I started at 10 o'clock in the morning because that allowed me to get my children ready for school, to feed them, fix their lunches because they weren't eating lunch at school because they weren't eating school lunches. They were eating my home cooked meals. And so I needed to and take them to school. So I needed time to do that. So I started business at 10 because that's what works for me. And then I would take a break to go pick them up, feed them dinner, and then come back because that is what worked for my life. And what we make the mistake to do is that we build this business and then it overtakes us and we can't find no time for us, no self-care, no time for our relationships. And that's not what building a business was about. At least for me, it was about improving my life and me having control over my time and my freedom.
Yes.
Yeah. So you said three things. Did you say three things you wanted? Okay. Did you ask me about
Oh,
three things?
yes, yes.
So that was one. Let me see. And then you got to really, again, as a woman in business, and I'm not, no, I speak of it because that's what I know as a woman in business, and
Yes.
some of this applies for both men and women. Um, we got to make sure that we take care. The self-care piece is important for us, that we got
Mhm.
to include ourselves on that schedule. So that like yesterday, yesterday, day before yesterday, I had a really challenging day at work. Oh, I just let me go to bed and wake up and just start over the next day because I need to have a new day. And when I woke up, I could just feel I wasn't like 100%. I was tired. And I just said, you know what? My body is not saying it wants to work today. I said, you know what? I'm going to take the day off, which was a Friday, which I get to do because it's my business. And so I said, whatever it is that my body wants to do, I'm going to do it. So I ended up getting stuff done, but from a place of, I don't have to do any of this. And then I finished the day off by going to get a 90-minute massage. Came home, took a bubble bath, went to bed, then got up, had my wonderful smoothies, had my wheatgrass. I've had my smoothie with almond milk and spinach and kale and mango and banana. And now I'm here talking to you. So I've included my self-care so that I can perform at my highest level. And the third thing for business, let me see, is having in business and it's in life, gotta have your voice. I'm a big stickler in life and in business because I've experienced as a woman in business and sometimes doing business with men, I've had to take a more of a masculine energy in order to really assert myself when I needed to because I practice feminine leadership. So I get to do business in a way that actually is very becoming to me as a woman that actually flows, right? So I don't have a masculine approach to my business or to my life. So
Yes.
there are times though that I gotta use my masculine energy, but it's from a place of mindfulness and use my voice. Don't allow anything to be unspoken because of fear, because of not feeling confident, because of questioning myself, or just because the other person's coming so strong to me. And I say that about women across everywhere in our lives. That is the key. I realized that women don't have their voices. And there's so much power. When you develop your voice and you speak it, a whole nother level of confidence comes up for you. So maybe
Yes.
we'll talk later about that. But yeah,
I
that's
love how you said that and expressed it so powerfully. What does feminine leadership mean to you? How can people harness that more effectively and grow to understand how to use that ability?
so feminine leadership, is, for example, is like the energy is yielding. It's based in flow. You use your intuition. You go, sometimes you make choices that feel like, okay, how does it feel? Does it feel like the right choice for me? As opposed to just all being mental, the pros and cons, the A's and B's. You do all that, and then what feels right? Right? Um, so that is the distinction, as opposed to like, I got this map and I'm gonna follow it. I'm at A and I'm getting to Z, and this is the path I'm going to choose, and this is the only path I'm going to do. It's, you're being flexible, you're being open. So it's it's less rigid, I can say,
Yes.
right? And it allows us as women to be able to show, because feminine leadership is not just for women, it's for men too, right?
Right.
And they
Right.
need some flow in their lives. They have intuition. They can use their feminine side to make decisions as well. Because what I know is that when we use masculine leadership in our lives across the board, we burn out. um our relationships falter because we just focus on one thing and not a holistic approach to our lives, and we let the other things fall down, and we deplete ourselves. So feminine leadership includes all of who we are and encompasses our entire lives and not just one aspect.
That's a beautiful thing. I really love how you summarize that, and especially the part where you were talking about using our voices. So that's so powerful. How did you learn how to use your voice and harness your voice like that? And
Woo!
was there an experience that led to you saying, I'm gonna learn to do better, or I'm gonna, use what I've seen someone else do and take it to the next level?
Well, it's interesting that you asked that question. So one of my practices is Tantra. And Tantra has to do with, and there's lots of different types of Tantra. So the Tantra that I'm schooled in and have used and taught is more what we call the white Tantra, which is more the spiritual Tantra, as opposed to maybe the red Tantra, which is more sexual and sensual. Um, and so in Tantra, and especially in the white Tantra, is based in presence, being present. So my Tantra teacher, who was a man, my first Tantra teacher, who was a man, he gave me an experiment. He told me, now I was already teaching, working with women for years, years. So when he was bringing this subject up to me about women not having their voices, he gave me an experiment to do, because I saw him like every 2 weeks. He said, for the next 2 weeks, I want you to just to note every single time you had something to say and you didn't say it. So at the end of my day, I would think about what was there anything today that I wanted to say and I held back. I did that for 2 weeks. Guess what I came up with? 30 times in 2 weeks. I'm a teacher. I'm a master teacher. And I didn't speak up 30 times. And I was like, oh, no, 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 no. This has got to go. This cannot be. I was just so, I couldn't believe it because I wasn't aware. And then once he made me aware, that was all she wrote. And one of the pieces he gave me, and I never understood what he meant until I did. He used to always say to me, this is kind of provocative here. He said, we will never, particularly women, again, but just, and he was saying, and particularly he was talking about African American people. We will never be free. This is what he used to say to me. We would never be free until we're free in the bedroom. And I was like, what does that got to do with I was like, I don't even understand what you're talking about. And he would say it so many times, and I could never get the connection. And now I get the connection. So if we can't have our voices in pleasure, if we can't have our voices in ecstasy, how in the world are we going to have our voices in the boardroom? How in the world are we going to have our voices in our businesses? In the world are we going to have our voices for justice? So then, and it took like 10 years to figure out the connection between having my voice in the bedroom and having my voice in the boardroom. And I remember I did a talk on that too one time. How to have your
Wow.
voice in the bedroom, having your voice in the bedroom, something so you can have your voice in the boardroom, something like that. I did. It
Yes.
was a business conference, and they were like, "Woo!"
That is juicy because we are whole people. You can't
Yes.
just focus on your business and burn yourself out and not have a life and not have fun and, you know, and just have those rigid conversations, like you were saying, that don't even bring up the feminine part of your spirit.
No.
So
Yeah.
that's powerful.
And it really, really shaped my life. And just to give you an example with that, how I use my voice in business, I was working, I'm a consultant, and I was working for a company, and I was consulting for them. And I knew that when I took the consulting position that they were underpaying me. But he said he didn't have the money. I said, okay. So in my mind, this is what I said. I said, I'm gonna give him a year of my work and my energy, and when it's time to renew my contract, we're going to talk about raising my price up, because then they know what I can do. So when that year came up, guess what was happening? They were laying people off. So now you would think, oh, they're laying people off. This is not the right time to go ask for a raise. I was like, and I really kind of struggled with that. I says, no, you know you're being underpaid. You made the commitment to yourself for the year. The year is here. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. You get to ask for what you want. And it wasn't even so much whether he said yes or no, but it was honoring me, being an act of self-respect for me to ask for what I knew I deserved. So it wasn't so much whether he would say yes or no. So I went in there, and of course I knew who I was talking to, he's a spiritual man. So my conversation I took from the spiritual approach with him. And I talked to him, and as he realized where I was going in this conversation, he backed up. He was like, and he looked at me, and he says, you are one bold woman. He said, I am laying people off, and you're coming in here and asking me for a raise.
Right.
And I was like, mm-hmm. And I walked out of that room, I don't know, with a $10,000 raise.
That's great. That's great.
So that was that, because I had all the reasons not to ask, right? But I was like, no, I can't do myself like that. I can't do
Right.
myself. I won't do myself like that. And that's the stand of having your voice, particularly as a woman, because we were trained, regardless of what, we were trained to be quiet.
Yes.
The world was not trained to really hear our voices. And so we've got accustomed to not putting our voice in the world. And when we put our voice in the world, it doesn't mean that the world listens, because they're not used to listening. So, but that doesn't mean we stop talking. It doesn't mean we stop sharing. It doesn't mean we cut our power off. That means because there's power in just share. Like when I got finished talking to him, I was like, whoo, I was high. I was like, it don't matter what he said, because I
Exactly.
did it. I
Yeah.
did it. And the icing on the cake was I walked out with the $10,000 raise.
Right, right. And it's like some people need to learn how to do that because if they want to assert their voice, they might not have the tools and the practice. So once they realize, okay, this is an area that I need to be developed in, they can seek out people like you and I for coaching in other services to learn just how to, speak up for themselves.
That's true,
And
because, and I'm glad you brought that up, Lima, because I find that that is the other issue. They don't know how. How do I have the conversation? And so there is a language. I have a different language. One, because of my Tantra training, which is the language of the heart, willing to be vulnerable, willing to be seen, willing to be transparent. And most people are doing just the opposite. They're not trying to be transparent. They're trying, because they're not trying to be vulnerable, because they consider being vulnerable as a weakness and not a strength. I know that being vulnerable is a power and a strength. Being transparent is a power and a strength. So you have to learn and to trust to be able to be from that place of vulnerability and to be transparent. So that's work in itself. And I did a lot of that work in the Tantra training that I've done. And then you start living from your heart and speaking from your heart and enjoying your ecstasy and enjoying your orgasms and speaking out what it is that you want and how do you want to be loved and what works for you and what doesn't work. And you do it from a place of the heart. You do it from a place of being mindful, not from a place of anger, not from the place that somebody's doing something wrong to you, but from a place of this is what I need. And
yes,
if they can't give it to you, then you get to decide how you want to play with them. Because some people may not be able to give you your needs, and that's okay.
right.
Because sometimes we get to the edge as women, we just be slashing people, killing people with our tongues. And our beautiful sisters can do that with great talent.
Right,
But
right.
I've done that with great talent. But now there's a mindfulness and there's a peace. And it's not just speaking. You want to speak so that you can be heard. And sometimes
Yes,
that means that I need to be quiet until I can find my peace so that I can speak to it from that place of mindfulness and not from the place of being emotional.
yes. I love when you said that. That was powerful when you said, be quiet so I can find my peace. Then
Mm-hmm,
you find your voice. Sometimes
mm-hmm,
from that quiet place, you find your voice.
mm-hmm.
Wow. So I have another question for you. When you were 9 years old, did you know that you were going to have a beauty company? What were some of your aspirations? What would you tell your 9-year-old self today?
Oh no, I was not having a beauty company. At 9, I have no idea, but I know that one of the things that I wanted to do when I was young, I always wanted to travel. So I'm doing that. Um, but I knew also that I would do healing work. So the beauty company really comes out of me being an African medicine woman. And this is a result. So my whole piece of being fine, fit, and fab. So I am a proudly 63-year young, beautiful Black queen, woman, empress. Right? And um and and so when I was in my 20s, I was living in Europe, and I would meet these beautiful, beautiful Black women who were traveling over to Europe. And they were older, right? They were like I was in my 20s, they were in their 40s and their 50s, but they were looking good. They were looking good, they were living their lives. And then at the same time, I was learning about health, that we like when they read about in the Bible and it says 800 years, 900 years. Well, one of my teachers was saying, well, those were real 800 years. They were really 900. I said, what? I was like, no, no, they were. I said, okay. And then it said that we were cutting our lifespan off by hundreds of years because of the way that we were living. And then I learned all about nutrition. So then I decided, you know what? I'm going to make a 40. This is a result of a 40-year experiment. So when I was in my 20s, I said, okay, I'm going to employ all these things I'm learning. So if they say, if I eat right and if I do my fitness and I do what I love, and all of these things, then I can be fine, fit, and fabulous at 60. So when I was 24, I had a vision of how I would be living, how I'd be looking, how I'd be feeling in my 60s. I started that in my 20s. And here I am proudly at 63 fulfilling and living that vision. And I'm here to say it works. And you can start, I started at 24. So no matter where you are, if you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, or your 50s, the body is responsive. You can, so out of the healing work came the beauty company, because then it was like, I started it because I was like, maybe I can use this as a gateway for women to take better care of themselves. If their skin is glowing and they're nourishing their skin with this natural product and formula that is nourishing, non-toxic, and I continue to teach, about my wellness, that the beauty formulas will be the entryway for women to be well. Because when you're in your 50s and your 60s, to me, it gets to be the second best time in your life. Because I think the 20s is kind of like the first best time in your life. Like, you don't know, and you're just out just trying. When he's out trying this, trying that, we tried that. You don't have responsibilities, But then, but then 60s and you're, definitely in the 60s, usually your children have grown up. You're settled in your career. You got time. You got some discretionary cash. If you're taking good care of yourself, if not, start. And then this could be a complete, oh my gosh, I'm having a ball in my
Yes.
60s. I'm actually healthier now than I was when I was younger. I'm healthier now than even when I was in my 40s and 50s.
Mhm. That's amazing. That is amazing. You make us look forward to aging. That's
That
the
is
good
what I
thing.
want people to do. You hear it, Lima?
Yeah.
I want, especially, we live in a society that doesn't honor getting older. Everything you look is about getting younger. Television is all about young people. I was like, don't older people love? Don't older people do stuff? Don't we adventure some? But we don't, after a certain age, after death, like, everything's about 30 something. After you get 40, you're over the hill. That's the thing, right? So we dread getting older. And the society helps us to dread getting older and to do everything we can to look younger, right? And what I want to share is that I want to give women a different idea and redefining what aging looks like so that we can age in confidence, embrace getting older, because it can be the best time in your life. That is one of my missions, wanting to create a nation of women who are fine, fit, and fabulous, and or at least aspire to be fine, fit, and fabulous, even beyond 100+ years young. I'm doing it. I'm committed to doing it, and I know you can do it too. And I want to share that message with women.
That's amazing. That is amazing. So I wanted to you to describe a time when you could see that your wellness vision was really paying off in your life, like an experience, maybe one of your fabulous vacations or one of your dancing
Oh,
experiences, something fun that you was just like,
oh,
"Ooh, thank goodness I took care of myself because I'm living a life." Like
oh, yeah, a couple of
something
things.
visual that you can give us.
Well, one thing, not this was the visual I was looking for. I had my second child at 40. I was not looking for that. But I did. And I had, and that was a whole experience. They considered me high risk because I was pregnant over 40. And I was like, y'all tripping. Ain't nothing high risk about me. I'm having a baby. I had one before. I'm having another one. I'm fit. I ain't got nothing. So y'all need to be quiet about the high risk. No high risk. So
Right.
that was one thing. And then the other thing, and then my kid, when my son was grown, they used to calculate. When I'm 21, mom, you're going to be 60. You're going to be an old mom.
That my son does the same
Yeah,
thing.
I was like, y'all wrong. Y'all said, but you watch, right? And now what they say, we went to, for my 60th birthday. Oh no, we're 60. My 61st birthday, because I couldn't get there on 60. 61st birthday, I went to Mexico to the Explore Adventure Park. And there we had to walk. I mean, we did, it's all about adventure stuff. And one of the things was that we had to walk up, I don't know, 6 flight of stairs so we could go zip lining over above the forest for an hour. And I'm afraid of heights. So here I am walking up to and we had young people with us. And my sister and I, because I'm 60, she 51, we were beating them. They were like huffing and puffing. We were like, shh. And they didn't want to give up because they was like, dang, that's our parents. How come they can do this and they don't seem to be? We're like, woo! Like, so that even gave them like, okay, we young, but how come they more fit than Miss? Yes. So it doesn't have to do with the age.
Right.
And the other thing I did is when, again, I did skydiving for my 50th birthday, afraid of heights. So, because my whole point was, I don't want my fear to ever prevent me from doing what it is that I want to do. I can feel the fear and do it anyway. So jumping out of that skydiving was probably the most confronting thing I have ever done in my life. With it, 2 flights of stairs, the Hyatt, where they have those glass elevators. I couldn't even ride those. 2 floors.
My God, you overcame that fear.
So now imagine jumping out of a plane at 18,000 feet.
Woo. I guess that's a confidence builder when you overcome your fears and you like look it in the mirror.
And it's not even overcoming the fears, Lima. It's just facing my fear. Because I still have a fear of heights, but just that I don't let it stop me. Like I went what's that, zip lining? It's like I feel the fear and I'm like, I'm afraid. I'm right there on the edge when they got to push me off and I'm scared. And then afterwards I do it. I don't let it stop me. It's not like I'm over the fear, girl. I'm not over it.
Right. Do it scared. That's what they say. Do it scared.
Yes. And I feel like my fear hasn't conquered me. I've conquered my fear. So that when I'm in business and I need to have a hard conversation and I have a fear, I have a visceral experience of facing my fear. It's not new to me. Right? So that's how I transfer those personal experiences into how I do my business and how I do my life. Because I used to avoid conflict. Now I'm like, hey, bring it on. I can handle it. What's up? Let's do this.
Right. You had that feminine flow to the Okay. So that was wonderful. I wanted to ask you a few more questions. What role has community played in your wellness and business journey?
Well, I love people and I love community. And I love my people. And so I'm like, whatever it is that I can do to make a difference. And in my gift, in my lane, it's around wellness and self-care and all the things. Then it's like, I have that. So how can I share that? How can I share that wisdom so that you can also have a more joyful and empowered life? So I've done workshops for communities, particularly leaders, because my thing is, who heals the healer or who heals the leaders? Because the leaders are out there with all the people that they're working with, but then they don't have nothing for themselves. So doing leadership workshops, particularly for women in leadership, so that we don't burn ourselves out, so that we actually thrive in our leadership. What are the principles for thriving in our leadership? So community has played a huge role in my life, in my business, for me, as well as how I give and share with the community. It's everything for me. Because ain't no sense in me being well by myself. Like when I'm fine, fit, and fabulous at 100, I want my girlfriends with me. I want my community with me, because who am I going to hang out with? Right? I want us to be well and wealthy together.
Exactly. Yes. Yes, definitely. And so, are there any last words that you would like to say? And please share how people can reach you if you'd like them to reach you by email or on Facebook and things like that.
Yeah, and so so and just speaking about, I want to speak a little bit about ancient treasure. Maybe I know you have them there. Maybe you can show them. Yes. So that's and so my whole thing is based
Cleanser.
in simplicity, right? There you go. And so I've created a simple two-step skincare ritual because skincare has just gotten too complicated, right? It's like, it's like I just here too. It's like I can't be bothered with 8, 9, 10 steps to do. I got one body. I live in one skin and I got hair. Like, I don't need 10, 11, 12 products. Now, I want to look as fine as possible. Absolutely. And I don't want to work hard at it. And so I created these two formulas so that they can have simplicity and get results. And that's one of the things I heard you say, Lima, is like, oh my goodness, because black soap is our step one. And usually black soap is very drying. So people can't use it on their faces. So we put the shea butter and other things in it so that it's not drying. You can use it on your face as a facial wash. You can use it on your body as a body wash. You can use it in your hair as a shampoo. Ta-da! And then our step two is the sacred beauty formula. This is another, she talked about this being gold in the jar. This is the second gold, step two in the jar. And with this, again, this replaces your eye cream, your night cream, your day cream, your body cream, your facial cream. You can use it in your hair. And if you've got any type of skin conditions, dark spots, black spots, stretch marks, puppy eyes, dark circles, eczema, psoriasis, wrinkles, any of those things, it works wonders. And that's what I like to offer the world is simplicity, recognizing the solutions to life is based in simplicity. And that's what I say African medicine woman is. African being the original, right? Because all man originated from Africa, right? The beginning of civilization. Medicine means the remedy. Medicine means it's going to resolve something. It's a solution to something, right? It's a remedy. And woman is life. We bring life, we give life. And so I translate African medicine woman as the original solution to life. That's who we are.
Mm, that's
So I
beautiful.
say, go be your solution to your life. All the questions you have, you actually have the answers to them within you. And if you take the time to check in and to ask the questions, you'll be guided to the answers. So, and you can reach me you can go to, for my website is myancienttreasure.com for the two-step skincare ritual, myancienttreasure.com. Facebook, it's, Facebook Ancient Treasure. And on Instagram, it's Instagram My Ancient Treasure as well.
That's great. It has been my pleasure. Live a life of purpose with gratitude, visualization, and community. Those who entered to win wellness products will be reached by email. Uh, the winner will be contacted.
And if y'all haven't signed up, you better sign up because you get
Right.
a chance to win a a, a two-step skincare ritual. That is the prize. So I recommend if you're listening to this, you need to go underneath there and add your name and your number in there so you can enter to win. You don't want to miss out. If you don't win, go buy
Right. Right.
some.
Follow me at on Facebook at limapasha.com. My email address is info@pashawellness.com. You can contact me to book a strategy session related to wellness and business coaching. Uh, so you can tune in soon.
And I just want to say to you, Lima, this is wonderful a to be a business coach with the focus on wellness. It is something that we need because so many times, as I've spoken about, As entrepreneurs, we put ourselves last. So to have a coach that is not only going to support you in having breakthroughs in your business, but it's going to connect the dots between your wellness, your leadership, and your business. Very powerful. Thank you for offering that to us.
Thank you so much.